Mr. PJ. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
Doing okay?
Sure.
Well, my name is Alex. I'm an MSW student,
Nice to
and
meet you.
I know you're a patient of Dr. Skinner's, and he asked me to meet with you today. He was just sensing some sadness, maybe some depression
Sure.
on your end, and we just want to see how we can help and kind of how we're doing. I have this assessment here.
Okay.
It's called the Beck Depression Inventory, and really it's just a guideline to help us determine kind of where you're at. There's no right or wrong answer on this, and some of your answers might fall a little bit in between. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to kind of go through this and see where we're at. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. Um, so this is going to be in regards to the past 2 weeks up until today. These questions I'm asking you about your feelings and thoughts. So just think of how you felt in the past 2 weeks and even today, okay?
Okay.
So in regards to sadness, and these are all on a scale. In regards to sadness, from 0, I do not feel sad, to 3, I'm so sad or unhappy I can't stand it. How do you think you're feeling now? 1 being sad much of the time, 2 sad all the time, 3 so unhappy I can't stand it.
I think I feel sad most of the time these days. It's pretty tough.
Okay. Okay. In regard to pessimism, 0, I'm not discouraged about my future. 1, I feel more discouraged about my future than I used to. 2, you don't expect things to work out. And 3, you feel your future is hopeless and will only get worse.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes it's hard to imagine a brighter future. So yeah, I think the second option there.
Okay. Past failure. 1, you do not feel like 0, you do not feel like a failure. 1, you feel you failed more than you should have. 2, as you look back, you see a lot of failures. Or 3, you feel like you're a total failure as a person.
Yeah, I look back and there's a lot that hasn't really gone right in my life, and it's hard to see where things have gone better. So yeah, I think I feel like a failure most of the times, unfortunately.
Okay. Loss of pleasure. 0, you get as much pleasure as you always have from things you enjoy. 1, you don't enjoy things as much as you used to. 2, you get very little pleasure. Or 3, you can't get any pleasure from the things you used to enjoy.
I just don't find that there's much that brings me pleasure these days. It's hard to maintain any happiness. So yeah,
Okay.
Last one.
Okay. And feelings of guilt. You don't feel particularly guilty. You feel guilty over many of the things you've done or should have done. You feel guilty most of the time or guilty all the time.
I think most of the times I find that I feel guilty. I find myself feeling like I could be doing better.
Okay. In regards to feelings of punishment, do you feel like you're not being punished? You feel like you may be punished? You expect to be punished, or you know that you're being punished?
Just seems like everyone out there has it so much better than me. It feels that I'm being punished, and I'm, in this all alone sometimes.
Okay. In regards to self-dislike, you feel the same about yourself as ever? You've lost confidence? You feel disappointed in yourself, or you dislike yourself? And again, these can answer in between or more than one. So
I feel like I've lost confidence in myself. I've done so many things, thought that I was doing it right, and turns out that they were wrong. It seems like, all right, how am I gonna turn that around or do things better? It makes it harder to feel confident and be doing things moving forward.
I hear you, John.
Sure.
Self-criticalness. You don't criticize or blame yourself more than usual. You're more critical than you used to be. You criticize yourself for all your faults, or you blame yourself for everything bad that happens.
I hold myself accountable. I feel like I blame myself most of the time for everything that goes wrong or right in my life, but not much goes right. So.
Okay. And this is a tough one. Thoughts of suicide. How are you feeling about that? Do you have any thoughts of suicide?
That's something that, as bad as things have seemed to be in my life, that's one option that I've never really considered.
Okay.
Don't think I'm suicidal.
And that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
How about crying? Do you feel that you don't cry any more than you used to? You cry even more? You cry over every little thing? Or do you feel like crying and can't?
I feel like a lot of times I hold back and I try to stay strong and not really show too many emotions. So yeah, I feel like a lot of times I might want to cry but I don't allow myself to.
Okay. We're about halfway done through this. How are you feeling right now?
So far, I'm okay. These are some tough questions to
Yeah.
never really considered most of them, or these things in my life. But yeah, I think I'm okay so far. We can
Okay.
continue.
You're okay to continue?
Sure.
Okay. In regards to agitation, again, 0, you're no more restless or wound up than usual. 1, you feel more restless or wound up than usual. 2, you're so restless that you can't stay still. Or 3, you're so agitated that you have to keep moving.
I feel like I try to keep moving in everything that I do to take my mind off of things.
Yeah. Okay, and that's normal. Loss of interest. Do you feel you have not lost interest in people or activities? You're less interested? You've lost most of your interest? Or it's hard to get interested in anything?
Yeah, I find it hard to get interested in things these days.
Okay. And these are like the people that you not used to love, but that you love and activities you like. We're talking, okay.
Yeah.
Indecisiveness. Would you say you make decisions as well as ever? You find it more difficult to make decisions than usual? You have much greater difficulty? Or you have trouble making any decisions?
A lot of times I feel like I have trouble making decisions these days, just afraid I'm going to go the wrong way, do the wrong thing. So yeah, it's hard for me to make decisions.
And worthlessness. Would you say you don't feel worthless? You don't consider yourself as worthwhile and useful as you used to? You feel more worthless as compared to other people, or you feel utterly worthless?
A lot of times I feel like the biggest piece of crap on earth, to be honest. It's hard to find any good going on. So yeah, I feel like a lot of times, unfortunately, I feel pretty worthless.
No, it's easy to feel, it's hard, but I can promise you that you're worth a lot to a lot of people in your life, and you're doing a great thing by being here today.
Well, I'm trying.
And that's where we begin. Loss of energy. Would you say you have as much energy as ever, less energy, not enough energy to do very much, or no energy at all?
Yeah, I feel pretty drained sometimes. Like it's hard for me to find any energy to keep going through the day.
Okay. And moving into sleeping patterns, would you say you sleep more than usual, less than usual?
Yeah, I find that a lot of times it's hard for me to get any rest at night. I end up I'll wake up in the middle of the night a lot of times, and it's hard for me to get rest. So,
okay. So did you say somewhat less than usual, or a lot less than usual?
It's changed pretty drastically over the past couple of months.
And you said you're waking up a lot during the night?
A lot of times I wake up and it's hard for me to go back to sleep.
Okay. And irritability, would you say you're no more irritable than usual, more, much more, or all the time irritable?
I feel like, all the time, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay. And are these feelings that other people have noticed in you as well?
Yeah, I'd say my family. A lot of times, have the kids running around and, they're bickering back and forth, and I'm sure, I'll bark at them and try to correct them, or my wife even, as always, she seems to be, yapping and telling me to do stuff, and I'll snap at her sometimes, and I don't always mean it, but yeah, I feel like my family feels it.
I understand. Okay. What about changes in appetite? Have you experienced a change in your appetite at all?
That's one thing I think is pretty consistent. I've still been eating, pretty normally.
No more, no less?
No more, no less.
Okay. And what about concentration? How are you feeling that you can concentrate the same, not well as usual, very hard, or you just can't concentrate on anything?
It's hard for me to stay focused on one thing. A lot of times I lose concentration pretty easily.
Okay. And tiredness or fatigue. I know we talked about changes in sleeping pattern. Would you say you're no more tired or fatigued than usual? You get more tired or fatigued more easily than usual? You're too tired to do a lot of things you used to do, or you're too tired to do most of the things you used to do?
I feel like I don't really lose even though I lose sleep, I end up still being able to work through the day and stuff, so I don't usually feel too fatigued.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. And last question. This is in regards to intimacy and sex. I know you have a wife. 0, I have not noticed any recent changes in my interest in sex. 1, I'm less interested than I used to be. 2, I'm much less interested. Or 3, I've completely lost interest.
Well, feel like I'm still interested, but I find it hard to sometimes, get in the moment. And so I definitely want sex, for pleasure for myself and for my wife, but I just find it hard to actually do sometimes. So,
Yeah, definitely. Well, you did a great job. That is it for me. So, how are you feeling?
Those are some tough questions. It was tough to get through. Those are things that I don't always really consider or think about, and
Yeah.
but I think I'm okay. I feel a little bit better
Good.
talking about it.
Good. Well, what happens from here? I'm going to kind of look over this, add some things up. We kind of use a scale to kind of keep score and just give us an idea of where we're at, where you're at. Again, each person is so individual. There's no way we can put you in any box or category. And that's something that Dr. Skinner is going to talk with you about. I'll give my feedback to him, and I think he's going to set up a follow-up appointment with you here in the next few weeks. But if you need anything, I am going to give you my information so you can reach out to myself or Dr. Skinner, okay?
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you being here today.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. PJ. Let me walk you out.
Okay.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.